Ciao, mi chiamo Lori e questa settimana sono in Lucca, Italy per imparare l'italiano alla scuola di Lucca Italiano. Iniziamo.
About a year ago, I started researching our family ancestry on my mom's side and came across my great-grandparents who were born in Troia, in wow, in Italy. Too many different languages right now in my brain, and it's all sort of chaotic up in here, so you'll just have to bear with me. So my great-grandparents were born in Troia, in Italy, and my grandfather came over and he got his citizenship for serving in the military. He came back, he married my great-grandmother, and then they both came to America and earned their citizenship that way. So about a year ago, I started taking a very beginner intro class to Italian online. It was a few weeks, kind of the learn how to order, learn how to travel through Italy with using basic Italian phrases, and I really enjoyed that. So after that, I took an A1 level class, which is the kind of real first level of Italian that you need to learn to start your path to becoming fluent. So I took an A1 level class online, and that was 10 weeks, twice a week. We met for 2 hours each time. And in that time, I learned a lot about and how to speak in the present tense and verbs and conjugations and a lot of the very basics for Italian. I did start to take the level 2 class, but I ended up withdrawing from it because life happened and things, which we won't get into. But I knew that I wanted to come and do something a little bit more immersive. I don't love taking language classes online. I've discovered since I've been here in Lucca, I really like the immersive in a classroom with people having actual conversations so much more. Don't get me wrong, my online teacher was great, but it's very limiting with 15 people on a Zoom call with lags and the things that you can do in a Zoom class. So I'm here in Lucca for a week, and honestly, I wish I was staying longer than that. But I am taking more beginner type lessons at Lucca Italian School, and what that consists of is from 9:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday this week. There are classes. There's about 9 of us with a teacher, and we're spending a lot of time in the classroom. And the thing about these classes is that they do not speak hardly any English, like the bare minimum English. So it really does help to have some beginner knowledge coming into this. There's a wide range of people in my class. They do kind of placement interviews to determine which level of class you should be in. And I think I probably potentially could be in a slightly higher level of class because I've taken the A1 class, but because I had not practiced it in several months, I really felt like it was good to have that beginner level class. And I'm already hoping to come back next year for 2 weeks or more to really get even more immersed in it. So that's where we started, and I'm going to take you through the week with me, day by day, and show you around Lucca, tell you a little bit about the classes.
All of my days in Lucca had a very wonderful routine to them. I rented an Airbnb about 7-minute walk from the school, so I would wake up, I would have breakfast in my Airbnb, and then I would take the walk along the beautiful cobbled streets of Lucca to the school, where we would have class from about 9:15 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. We did have about a 30-minute coffee break in the middle of that every day, and a lot of people would walk to a nearby bar, which is what Italians call coffee shops, and they would have a cafe or a coffee. I spent a lot of time sitting in the garden chatting with other fellow students, and it was so nice to meet students in other level classes and find out what they were learning and how the different classes were run. And I made a lot of really good friends that week just chatting in the garden at lunchtime, or at coffee time rather. At 3 different times throughout the week, the school offered optional excursions. The first was on Monday evening. They offered a guided walking tour of Lucca itself, and this was split up into 2 groups. The very beginner group where some English was spoken, and then the advanced group where absolutely no English was spoken. I took the beginner group tour and we walked all over Lucca. We got some great restaurant recommendations from our teachers. We got to meet other fellow students and just really get to explore the city from a local's perspective. And then of course we stopped and had aperitivo after and had a cocktail with our classmates and our teachers, and it was a lot of fun. One of the other optional activities that the school offered that I didn't take advantage of was a group tour to a nearby Vespa museum. I do regret now not going after talking to one of my classmates who went to it and said it was super enjoyable. So probably next year when I go back to Lucca Italian School, that's something I would definitely like to take advantage of. And then the other optional activity they offered was on the last evening was kind of a pizza get-together dinner where everybody met up at a local pizza shop and you were on your own for your dinner, but it was another great way to socialize with fellow students. After class, I would either go back to my Airbnb and have lunch with groceries I got from the market and maybe get some work done, or I would go out and wander around Lucca. I had pizza a couple times at Pizzeria Felice, which is one of my favorite pizzerias in Lucca. If you know me, you know I'm never going to miss the opportunity to have a gelato, so I made sure to have a gelato every day. And then some afternoons were taken up by mundane things like doing the laundry, but it really gave the immersive experience of what it's actually like to live in Lucca, Italy. And then one afternoon, I actually took the train to the nearby beach town of Viareggio. It's about a 20-minute ride from Lucca to Viareggio one way, and it was about €5 or €6, something pretty cheap like that. And I went in the afternoon for about €15. I was able to rent a beach chair and a lounger and just enjoy the seaside, get some fresh air, go for a swim, and it was a really beautiful way to kind of get outside the city and enjoy some of the summer vibes from Lucca. A couple of nights I would have dinner with classmates, or I would go out for dinner by myself and enjoy walking around Lucca. Lucca is a very beautiful, very small, very safe city, especially when you're inside the city walls. There are very few cars in the city, so it's incredibly walkable, and it's really just beautiful to just wander around the historic streets and enjoy seeing all the sights that Lucca has to offer. This was actually my second trip to Lucca. I was actually there back in February, and it's a whole different city in the winter versus the summer. So I highly recommend that you experience it in the spring, maybe the summer. Things are kind of chill, very kind of quiet, kind of not a whole lot going on during the winter. But if you go in the spring or the summer, the city is lively. There's lots of people, lots of locals, lots of tourists, but it's a very small vibe. It's not like the crazy chaotic crowds of Florence or Rome or Venice. It's still very low key even when it's crowded. And I absolutely love walking along the beautiful city walls that encircle the main part of the city. Just being out in nature like that is so calming and so soothing and peaceful and beautiful. So all too soon, it was Friday. It was my 5th day of classes, and I was done with my time at Lucca Italian School, and I was so sad. I have to tell you, so many of my classmates were staying for a second week, and I truly wish that I could have stayed. And honestly, if life circumstances had allowed me to, I would have definitely expanded my trip and stayed for that additional week, but I had some stuff that I need to get home and deal with. That just means that I'm already looking forward to going back to Lucca Italian School in 2026. If you have any questions about Lucca Italian School or about Lucca itself, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more great travel videos. See you in the next one.